Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Stryfium, and welcome back to another Misfits Racing League highlights video. We are here at the Temple of Speed. It's, of course, Monza. It is the Italian Grand Prix, and I hope, of course, you enjoy the highlights that we picked out for the Tier 1 racers.
But it is Shenjay on pole, 1/10 ahead of Richie in second place. Then some idiot in third. Alex Biddo in fourth. Remco Van Putten in fifth. Nigel in sixth. Yoda Championship leader down in seventh place here at Monza. Microlander in eighth. Freeware, Shenjay's teammate in ninth place. And Brownie rounds out the top 10. Long time as we wait for those drivers behind him to join onto the grid. But here we are ready and waiting to get going here at Monza once again. Mikkel, take us through this race start as the lights start to go out.
Yeah, the 5 red lights are on, the cars are revving the engines. There's still this timing desync that we absolutely love, but the lights out and away we go. Looks like a pretty decent start from most of the grid here. Shenjay getting a decent start, Ace Richie falling in behind, and then it's some idiot going side by side with Alex Biddo through into the first turn, first part of the first chicane. Here we go. Looks like it's pretty clean across. It's the 3 wide going back in the final points positions. That's Rackety, Sindaco, and Microlander having a lot of a scrap. Freeware's had a horrible run out of the chicane. Brownie's going up the inside of him for P7. He's still getting Nigel as well. This might be a double overtake for the Ferrari as he breaks super late into the first chicane. He completely cuts the corner. He's run into Nigel as well. That's Nigel, the Alfa Romeo, into the gravel trap there. And it seems that most of the drivers behind him have gotten away unscathed. Nigel down into 13th, but at the front, it is Shenjay away. 9/10 is the gap between himself and Richie.
Down into that second chicane in the first lap, but now it's Henner's looking to capitalise. I think Fraser's had a bit of an issue, but it's a tap from the rear, I think. The Haas has just gone spinning through the first. Lesmos, he's having to turn that car around. It doesn't look like he wants to budge at all. Coming down into Ascari. He's going to...
Oh, that's it off. That's Alex Biddo. He's gone off at the Ascari chicane. And that is super unfortunate for the Scuderia, the Ferrari fans. You hate to see it, but that is the Ferrari just stopped there at the exit of Ascari. He has to wait for all of these cars to go past, and he's now down into 16th from third place with those 2 fastest laps. He was setting the pace, he was catching, he was pushing, but I think he just pushed a bit too hard, and now he has paid the ultimate price for it. He's now down in 16th as some idiot making a pass on Remco Van Putten for that final podium place. With that spin, that means that they've fallen out of DRS range from the top 2.
He's going to look to try and get past Rackety, defends the inside from Nigel.
Oh, here we go, Sindaco follow through. It's starting. Sindaco looking around the outside of turn 1 becomes the inside for the second part of the chicane. Rackety's still there though. This wheel to wheel as they make their way through the Curva Grande. Is it a Grande move from the racing point? They're still side by side, Unicorn. This is absolutely wonderful racing for the final point in this race. They make their way down towards the Rogier chicane. The McLaren out just a little bit more. He leaves the room, leaves as much room as he can, but that is a great defense from the McLaren. But Nigel is through, and now he's on to his teammate Yoda.
Up to the Haas of Astrolite behind him, the only Haas left in this race after a poor start from Henner's, but there it is.
Rackety too.
They're both looking like they're going to get Rackety.
He's squeezed on the inside, Unicorn. This is absolutely incredible racing between these guys, but there's a little bit of a tap as well. Astrolite getting a little bit of a slip out from the rear, and that might have compromised his run, but he's still too far ahead for Swifty to make anything of that.
To, the point scoring positions and sort of rectify his race as Rackety down the inside into turn 1 on the Haas of Astrolite, as fresh as they were at the start of this race, that's for sure. So it's Astrolite looking at him again, coming down towards the second chicane, and he's up the inside, and he can break a little bit later. He's got the increased traction, a little bit of a tap, and Rackety bumping over that inside curb, and that could leave him open here. To Swifty, who's going to come up the inside into the first Lesmos, and this is where we're seeing it. This is where we're seeing these mediums come alive, and someone who's on fresh mediums, Shenjay, just behind them. The undercut has worked for him. He is absolutely blasting away from Richie, and now DRS on these back markers. Well, they're not back markers, they're just on a slightly different strategy. He's not going to get past Rackety. He's going to go for it a bit late, and that's Rackety spinning. Shenjay, he's going to be looked at very closely by the stewards, but he's not being looked at by them now. Closely looked by Richie, who's on the gearbox.
With those top 2, The DRS is now wide open for the Mercedes, and it's going to be an easy overtake. You can see the speed difference from that Mercedes on the Haas. It's an absolute no contest.
As we go back on board with the leaders, he is going to be utterly gutted with how this race has gone. But it's Swifty being overtaken around the outside of turn 1. It's Remco out of turn 2. The fresh mediums paying off for him, and it's Brownie just behind. He's going to get the run on Swifty as well. Can Freeware join in the fun? Can he get past Swifty? He's a little bit too far back now. So it's back on with Brownie, who's still side by side with the Red Bull, just about inching ahead before the second chicane. And Freeware looks like he's fixed his bad runs, and out of Parabolica, he's got an absolutely astonishing run on the Haas of Astronaut. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's Jean, as Brownie has got past Remco, but it's Microlander looking up the inside of Astronaut down into turn 1. We've seen this a few times already, and Microlander, an absolutely astonishing move with the DRS on the
someone's had an off.
Romeo.
That's Nigel. Nigel's had an off at Parabolica, and that car is firmly into the wall, similar to how Magnussen was this year.
He can do to try and get past, but he's got such a good run that Ascari has the added amount of lifting and braking. Going to cost him here. He's using a bit of the ERS finally, and he is going to get the Alfa Romeo, or at least he's going to go side by side into Parabolica. We've seen people defend around the outside of this corner before, but it is Swifty now up into P3.
Absolutely incredible. I can just see it right now. If somebody can just use a bit more of that battery to catch up, he has quite a bit more than the other two in front of him. If he's just able to get that tiny bit closer, we are going to be having a massive fight. And speaking of massive fights, it's Astrodite and Alex Bitter in this battle for 11th place. They're going side by side down the main straight they go. It's a drag race between these two. Alex Bitter using all of the batteries down to 0%. Unicorn Swifty as well, trying to use this opportunity that Astrodite has given him to try and pass Alex Bitter as well. This has disappointed, but the other has not thus far. Brownie just doing all that he can to try and keep Remco behind as Ace Richie now looking on the inside of Chenjay into the first chicane. This is lap 24 of 27, so we have only a few laps left of this race, and Chenjay has finally lost the lead of this race.
And let's not forget Remco, he really has been knocking on Brownie's door. He has started the big lunge up the inside. What a beautiful move from the Renault there. He tried to make it last time into the second chicane. He didn't make it, as Jean's retired from the race.
Of this race, Chenjay having very low battery, but Richie does as well. Chenjay looking at that left-hand side, and it's submitting as well. It's 3 wide. It's 3 wide for the leaders. Going down into the first chicane, there's a bit of contact between Chenjay and Some Idiot, but Chenjay has made his way through Richie, getting the worst of that exchange. He's now down into third, and Some Idiot using that overtake, using that slipstream that he can. Chenjay very low on battery. He's looking around the outside of the Curva Grande. This is the battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. They're side by side. Some Idiot has the inside line heading into turn 4. These guys, none of them have penalties. There's a battle going on behind them as well, but Some Idiot now, out of nowhere, just swoops in, and he's going to cross the checkered flag. He's going to take the checkered flag here in Monza, and Some Idiot is your race winner here at Monza. Chenjay only good enough for Pizza, and Ace Richie will round off the podium. We have a fight here between Brownie and Remco Van Pruden, but Remco Van Pruden has a whole bunch of penalties. Microlander will take that P5 slot. Remco Van Pruden down into 6th. Freeware will take home 7th place for the AlphaTauri squad. Sindako will take home P8 at his home race. Yoda P9, and Fraser will come across the line to take the final point in this race, taking those soft 15 laps, Unicorn.